This is Ian Cameron for Sportsbook Review with your NHL Early Lines report for the games taking place on Tuesday, November 22nd. A smaller than normal Tuesday card, but we're going to run down every single game, give you our look toward the NHL Tuesday betting lines. Let's start with Carolina taking on Toronto. A fascinating game here with the Carolina Hurricanes. Just in playing really good hockey in recent games. Carolina's won 4 straight games, and look at the teams that the Hurricanes have beat during that span. They've beaten teams like Washington, San Jose, Montreal, Winnipeg. We've seen this team beat some pretty good teams during this 4-game winning streak. Cam Ward is on a roll. He has got a tremendous save percentage, tremendous job. Carolina, in fact, has allowed 2 goals or less in every single game during this current winning streak of theirs. So there's a lot of positive signs right now with this Carolina team. On the flip side, though, you can't fault what Toronto's done. Toronto's played pretty good hockey as of late. You look at what they've done their last 9 games, pretty impressive. 6-3 for the Leafs in their last 9 games, and they've been great on home ice. Air Canada Centre, Toronto 7-2. Their youngsters continue to play very well for this team. Tough game to call from a side perspective. I don't think I want to go against Carolina. They're in good form right now. Cam Ward's red hot in net, but the Leafs have played very good hockey at home, so not a game I'm likely to get involved with. And again, tough from a totals perspective because Toronto's been an over machine at home. Carolina's not been allowing many goals, so very contradicting elements here, side and total. So it's a game I'm probably not going to bet on Tuesday. St. Louis, Boston, very good matchup here. 2 playoff potential playoff teams in the East and the West. Blues playing good hockey. They've won 3 straight against Buffalo, San Jose, and Nashville. Boston also playing very good. Boston 4-1 in their last 5 games, and they've been able to keep playing well for the most part, even without David Pastrnak, top-line player. Plays on that Boston top line along with Brad Marchand, and unfortunately for Pastrnak, he's missed the last few games, but Boston's still been able to keep playing pretty well. They'll be in tough here against this St. Louis team, though. St. Louis has played very well in Boston over the years. St. Louis 7-1. In the 8 meetings between these two teams. Jake Allen continuing to get better and more confident, I guess you could say, as the Blues' #1 goalie. So I'd actually probably have a slight lean to the Blues here at a plus price at about plus 115 as a road team here and at the road underdog price. I think the Blues, good track record as well in Boston. If I had to bet that one, I'd look to the Blues as the road dog. Philadelphia, Florida. The Philadelphia Flyers have definitely had a little bit of a disappointing start to their season. I think it's safe to say at 8. A very poor record, actually. 8-11 to start the season, the Philadelphia Flyers. Florida, on the other hand, 10-10. So, teams that have been up and down to this point. A little bit of a tricky spot, though, for Florida. They've just coming off a 4-game road trip through Eastern Canada, Montreal, Toronto, Ottawa, and then they wrapped it up with the Rangers shootout win, 3-2, despite playing on the second of back-to-back on the road. So an impressive win there for Florida. I sense a little bit maybe of a letdown here for this Florida team. They are going to get Nick Bjugstad, though, one of their top centers, back on the ice for this game, back in the lineup. He hasn't played yet this season, but he's been activated from the injured list. He had suffered a hand injury that's kept him out up to this point, but he's going to be back. Certainly going to boost the offense for Gerard Gallant's team here and give them a little bit more scoring punch. And we know this Flyers team has had trouble in terms of goals against. You look at them. They're 30th in the NHL in goals allowed, 3.4 goals per game. That's not very good. The goaltending from Mason hasn't been very consistent, and Neuwirth, when he's gotten the opportunity, hasn't really gotten it done as well. So Florida, offensively should be improved with Nick Bjugstad on the ice. Philadelphia, on the other hand, this hadn't been playing very good hockey. They beat Minnesota, they lost to Ottawa, they beat Winnipeg, they lost to Tampa, so they've exchanged wins and losses in their last 4 games, not showing any sort of consistency. Offensively, they've had some games where they've been able to score goals, but at times they haven't been able to overcome their defensive deficiencies at times, their struggles on the penalty kill at times, and of course their goaltending, which has been very mediocre. So, it sets up as a game where, we could actually have some fireworks, and we'll make that official when we get back to play of the day at the end of this NHL video. Ottawa, Montreal, there's no line as of this recording currently posted for that game, so we're going to skip it. We'll go down to the Islanders and Anaheim, the last game on Tuesday's NHL card. Anaheim, a minus 180 favorite. It's probably warranted. I don't know if I could get to the window right now back in this Islanders team. They have just been in an absolute free fall for the last several weeks. I feel bad for Jack Capuano. He seems like a good guy, but I think pretty soon, if this malaise continues for the Islanders, we're talking about a team that's 2-8 now in their last 10 games, and just 5-15 on the season, just 0-5 on the road as well. The Islanders haven't played many road games so far, but the road games they have played, they haven't been able to win any of them. 0-5, so now they got to start this road trip in Anaheim. Take on this California trifecta, the Ducks, the Kings, and the Sharks on the road. The Islanders here in back-to-back games, not an easy task. Anaheim, they haven't exactly fired on all cylinders yet either at 9-10, but they are 6-3 at home, coming off a tough home loss against the LA Kings, 3-2, an intense hockey game with their rival. Prior to that, they had won 2 in a row. I just don't know if I can back the Islanders. As tempting as that price tag is, Islanders a rich underdog of about plus 150, plus 160 in this game. They're just not playing well. They're not scoring well. Their goals against has not been very good. It's just a ton of issues right now for this team. Yaroslav Halak's been a disappointment in net. Thomas Greiss, hasn't been able to live up to the way he played when he was in the playoffs last year leading this Islanders team. So very disappointing team right now. And even though you'd think focus at the start of a road trip may get their attention here, I can't bet what I don't see. And right now, I'm not seeing very good hockey being played by this Islanders team. So not a game I'm going to get involved with. Too rich of a price to lay with the Ducks, but really can't back the Islanders, even though the price is tempting, until I see something positive out of them. All right, let's wrap it up. It's play of the day time for the Tuesday, November 22nd NHL card. We're going back to the Flyers-Panthers game. I think we're going to see some goals scored in this game. Flyers have been a team that's very deficient defensively. Florida should be getting their offense boosted with the return of Nick Bjugstad, but the Philadelphia Flyers certainly capable of scoring goals themselves, and the Florida defense has been conceding a few goals, I guess you could say, in recent games. So with that, let's make it official, and let's go with the Florida Panthers and the Philadelphia Flyers over 5.5 goals. Philadelphia, Florida over 5.5 on the Tuesday, November 22nd card. That's your play of the day. All right, that's going to wrap up my look at the NHL early lines for Tuesday, November 22nd. I'm Ian Cameron for Sportsbook Review. Until next time, enjoy the games and good luck.
Research before you bet. Be sure to check out SPR Picks for the best game predictions, breakdowns, and much, much more.